your dreams are slipping away not because you lack talent or opportunity, but because you're waiting for the perfect mood to strike. Success doesn't wait for sunny days. It rewards those who show up, rain or shine, with a plan that outlasts fleeting emotions. Ladies and gentlemen, too many people wait for the perfect mood before they take action. They wait for the day they feel excited, confident, or inspired, as if success is a guest that only visits when you're smiling. But life doesn't reward you for feeling good. It rewards you for showing up prepared and consistent, whether the sun is shining or the clouds are heavy. A good mood can give you energy, but it cannot replace vision, discipline, and a solid plan. If your strategy depends only on how you feel, you'll win on good days and lose on bad ones. The true winners in life don't let emotions control their progress. They build systems that work rain or shine. A good mood feels like fuel. It lifts your energy, sharpens your focus, and makes every challenge seem lighter. But like fuel, it burns out quickly. You might wake up one day feeling unstoppable, ready to take on the world, and by the afternoon, a small setback can drain your enthusiasm completely. That's the nature of mood. It changes. It's influenced by sleep. Whether people, news, or even something as small as a single comment from someone, depending on mood alone, is like building a house on sand. When the tide comes in, everything shifts. A strategy, on the other hand, is like building on solid rock. It's a plan, a structure, a guiding map that doesn't care about the emotional highs and lows you experience. When you have a strategy, your actions are not dictated by how you feel in the moment. They're guided by a vision that's bigger than your temporary emotions. It's the difference between a sprinter who runs fast when the crowd is cheering and a marathon runner who keeps moving even when the road is empty and silent. When you rely solely on a good mood, your productivity becomes inconsistent. You work hard when you feel like it and slow down or stop when you don't. This creates a roller coaster pattern of effort. Bursts of progress followed by long gaps of stagnation. Over time, this inconsistency erodes momentum. And momentum is one of the most powerful forces in achieving anything meaningful. Strategy is the antidote to this. It ensures that even on the days when you feel drained, your plan still pulls you forward. Consider an athlete training for the Olympics. They don't wake up every day thrilled about the grueling workouts ahead. They have days when their body aches, their mind resists, and their mood is anything but cheerful. But their training schedule, their strategy, doesn't depend on those feelings. They show up regardless. That's why they improve. That's why they win. Mood is a luxury. Strategy is a necessity. In business, the same principle applies. Many entrepreneurs start with excitement. The idea feels fresh, the possibilities feel endless, and the energy flows naturally. But as soon as the first obstacles appear, a deal falls through, a competitor launches something better, or sales drop, that mood vanishes. Without a strategy, the business drifts, decisions become reactive instead of planned, and opportunities are missed. Those who succeed in the long run are the ones who anchor their work to a clear roadmap, not to the emotional waves of the day. A strategy gives you clarity when your mind is clouded. It acts as a compass when motivation fades. It forces you to measure progress in actions taken, not in how inspired you felt while taking them. And perhaps most importantly, it teaches you discipline, the ability to work in alignment with your goals, even when every part of you wants to stop. Mood can inspire action, but it should never dictate it. It is like the wind for a sailor, helpful when it blows in your favor, but unreliable. A skilled sailor relies more on the map, the compass, and the skill of navigation than on the hope of perfect weather. Strategy is that navigation system in life. It doesn't eliminate challenges, but it gives you the tools to navigate through them no matter how you feel in the moment. Motivation is a spark. It ignites quickly, burns brightly, and feels powerful in the moment. It's that rush of energy when you watch an inspiring video, hear a success story, or set a big goal for yourself. In those moments, you feel like nothing can stop you. But the truth about motivation is that it's unstable. It can vanish as fast as it appears. You can feel motivated at night to start a project, and by the time morning comes, the excitement is faded, leaving you with nothing but an untouched to-do list. Discipline is different. Discipline doesn't care if you feel excited or not. It is the quiet, consistent force that shows up day after day. Where motivation depends on mood, discipline depends on commitment. Motivation might get you to start something, but discipline ensures you finish it. It's the bridge between goals and results, the thing that turns an idea into a reality. Think about someone training for a marathon. Motivation might get them out the door the first few runs, but there will be days when their legs are heavy, the weather is terrible, and they would rather stay in bed. On those days, motivation won't be enough. What gets them to lace up their shoes and hit the road is discipline. The decision to follow the plan, no matter what the conditions are. In careers, discipline separates the amateurs from the professionals. A professional writer doesn't wait for the perfect wave of creativity to strike. They sit down and write every day, regardless of whether the words flow easily or not. A disciplined salesperson doesn't only make calls when they're feeling confident, they follow their outreach schedule even when they face repeated rejection in every field. It's the discipline to keep going when motivation is gone that leads to mastery. Motivation is emotional, discipline is logical. Motivation asks, do I feel like it? Discipline says, it doesn't matter how I feel, this is what I do. The reason discipline outperforms motivation is because life is full of days when you won't feel like doing the work. If you depend on motivation alone, you'll make progress only when conditions are perfect. But if you rely on discipline, you make progress even on the worst days, and those are the days that truly count. Motivation is like the weather, unpredictable and temporary. Discipline is like the seasons, predictable and consistent. You can't build a farm based on sunny days alone, but you can build one knowing the seasons will come as planned. Discipline creates that reliability in your personal and professional life. In business, the most successful people aren't the ones who wake up every morning feeling inspired. They are the ones who stick to their plan when the market dips, when sales slow, when critics speak. And when the excitement fades, they work not because they're motivated in the moment, but because they are disciplined in their approach. Discipline also builds trust with yourself. Every time you follow through on a commitment, even when it's hard, you prove to yourself that you can be relied upon. This self-trust becomes a powerful cycle. The more you keep your word to yourself, the stronger your discipline grows. It's not glamorous, it's not as exciting as a surge of motivation, but it's steady. And steady always wins in the long run. Enthusiasm is an incredible force. It's the rush of excitement when you discover a new idea, the surge of energy when you imagine yourself succeeding, and the eagerness to dive headfirst into something new. It can make the impossible seem possible, and it can light up your mind with possibilities. But enthusiasm, no matter how powerful it feels, has one major weakness. It is often short-lived. Without the foundation of preparation, enthusiasm fades the moment it encounters resistance. Preparation is the steady groundwork that ensures you can keep moving when the initial excitement is gone. It's the quiet, often unseen work that equips you to handle the reality behind your dreams. Anyone can start with passion, but without preparation, that passion collapses the moment obstacles appear. Preparation is what turns enthusiasm into execution. Think about a student preparing for an important exam. In the beginning, they might feel motivated, imagining the pride of getting top marks. The enthusiasm might be strong enough to get them to open a book and start reading. But when the material becomes complex, when the concepts are hard to grasp, enthusiasm alone won't carry them. The student who took the time to plan their study schedule, gather resources, and review regularly is far better equipped than the one who relied on a burst of excitement the night before. In sports, the difference between a great athlete and a good one is rarely enthusiasm. Every player feels excited when the crowd is cheering and the game is about to start. But what determines performance is the level of preparation done long before the game. The drills, the conditioning, the strategy sessions. These are the invisible hours that make the visible moments of victory possible. Without preparation, even the most enthusiastic player will crumble under pressure. Business works the same way. Many entrepreneurs launch with a burst of passion. They feel unstoppable, driven by big dreams and high energy. But markets are unpredictable. Competition is fierce and challenges appear without warning. Enthusiasm might open doors, but it is preparation, market research, financial planning, skill building that allows someone to walk through those doors with confidence. Those who prepare don't just react to problems, they anticipate them and have solutions ready. Preparation also builds resilience. When you are prepared, setbacks don't shake you as easily. You have already considered what might go wrong and you've built a plan to handle it. Enthusiasm can vanish in the face of failure, but preparation gives you the strength to adapt and keep going. It turns uncertainty into manageable risk. The problem with enthusiasm is that it often tricks people into thinking they're ready simply because they feel ready. Feeling ready and being ready are two entirely different things. Being ready comes from time invested in learning, practicing, and planning. It comes from doing the boring, repetitive tasks that enthusiasm alone cannot sustain. When preparation and enthusiasm work together, the results can be extraordinary. Enthusiasm provides the initial push, the excitement to start, and the energy to dream big. Preparation ensures that once you start, you can keep going even when the work gets hard, even when the excitement fades, even when challenges multiply. It's the shield that protects your progress and the map that keeps you on course. Emotions are like weather. They can change suddenly, shift without warning, and range from calm sunshine to violent storms. Some days you feel clear, energized, and optimistic, like a bright sunny morning. On other days, the clouds gather, the air feels heavy, and everything seems harder than it should be. Emotions like weather are influenced by countless factors. A conversation you had, a challenge you faced, the way you slept, or even something as small as the tone of a message you received. No matter how much you wish for constant good weather, you cannot control it completely. A strategy, however, is like the climate. The climate defines the long-term conditions in which life happens. While weather changes daily, climate remains consistent over months and years. Your strategy works in the same way. It is the stable, overarching plan that remains in place no matter what emotional storms or sunny spells you experience. A well-built strategy can survive bad emotional weather because it is designed to guide you through the ups and downs without losing direction. So to drive back forward, it is important to believe that the weather can be an emotional cloud watcher. When you rely solely on emotions to make decisions or take action, you expose yourself to instability. On good days, you move forward quickly, energized by positive feelings. But on bad days, progress slows or stops entirely because your emotional weather doesn't support it. Over time, this creates inconsistency, and inconsistency kills momentum. A strategy prevents this by acting as a constant framework for action, regardless of how you feel. Consider a farmer. They can't change the weather, but they plan their planting, irrigation, and harvesting around the climate they know. Some days will be hot, others rainy. Some storms will be unexpected, but the farmer's success depends on understanding the long-term patterns and working with them. Likewise, your emotional weather will vary, but your strategy, the climate of your decisions, keeps you on track toward your long-term goals. In personal development, this means that even when your mood dips, your strategy ensures you still follow through with your habits and routines. If your plan is to exercise 3 times a week, a bad mood shouldn't cancel that. If your strategy is to save a fixed percentage of your income, a moment of emotional spending temptation shouldn't break it. When the strategy is strong, it acts as a stabilizing force against the volatility of emotional weather. In business, leaders face emotional highs and lows constantly. Excitement from a major win, frustration from a failed deal, stress during economic downturns. If a leader's actions are driven only by these emotional states, the company will veer off course every time the weather changes. Strategic leaders stick to their long-term vision and adjust tactics as needed. But they don't abandon their direction just because the emotional climate on a given day is difficult. The beauty of separating emotional weather from strategic climate is that it allows you to acknowledge and feel your emotions without letting them dictate your entire course. You can have a stormy day emotionally, but still take the steps your strategy requires. You can have an overly optimistic mood, but still stick to cautious, well-thought-out decisions instead of overextending yourself. Weather is short-term, climate is long-term. Emotions are fleeting, strategy is enduring. By building your life and work around the stability of climate rather than the unpredictability of weather, you create a foundation that can withstand both the brightest days and the darkest storms. Everyone faces bad days, days when nothing seems to go right, when energy is low, when motivation is missing, and when setbacks pile up one after another. These days can feel overwhelming, and many people allow them to derail their progress completely. They pause, take a break, or give up entirely because they believe they need to feel better before they can continue. But this mindset overlooks one of the most powerful truths about success, that consistency survives bad days. Consistency is the habit of showing up, doing the work, and moving forward regardless of how you feel or what's happening around you. It's the commitment to keep your promises to yourself even when circumstances are difficult. Consistency doesn't require perfect conditions. It requires dedication and persistence. And it's precisely this steady, ongoing effort that turns small actions into big results over time. Bad days come to everyone. There is no way to avoid them. You might get sick, face rejection, deal with unexpected problems, or simply feel exhausted. But those who win in life don't let bad days stop them. They understand that progress isn't made only on the good days. It's made by continuing even on the days when everything feels hard. Think about the analogy of a river cutting through rock. The water always rushing with power. Sometimes it flows slowly or even stagnates. But over years and decades, the steady movement shapes the landscape. The rock doesn't give way because of one strong current. It erodes because of thousands of consistent drops. Similarly, your consistent actions wear down obstacles over time. Even if each individual effort feels small, consistency builds momentum, and momentum is what carries you through bad days. When you have a routine or system in place, the motion you've created helps you keep moving forward. On a good day, progress feels easy. On a bad day, momentum is the force that keeps you from stopping entirely. Without consistency, momentum disappears, and you have to restart again and again, which strains your energy and morale. In any skill, career, or relationship, consistency matters more than short bursts of intense effort. Someone who studies for an hour every day will outperform someone who studies for 5 hours one day and nothing the next 6 days. Someone who saves money regularly, even if it's a small amount, will build wealth faster than someone who saves only when they feel like it. The power of consistency is that it creates reliability in yourself and in how others see you. When you are consistent, you become dependable, you build trust, reputation, and confidence. You also develop resilience because you learn to face challenges repeatedly without quitting. This resilience is the secret ingredient for long-term success. Bad days test your commitment. They reveal whether you are truly dedicated to your goals or only interested when things are easy. Those who survive bad days don't have special luck or constant motivation. They have the discipline to continue despite discomfort. They don't wait to feel perfect. They act anyway. Consistency also builds habits, and habits reduce the reliance on willpower or mood. When actions become habits, they require less mental energy, making it easier to keep going on bad days. This is why successful people emphasize routines. They remove the question of whether to act and replace it with automatic, reliable behavior. Ultimately, it's not the flashiest moments of passion that define success. It's the quiet, often unseen persistence through the hard days that separates those who achieve their dreams from those who don't. Consistency is the foundation that supports every victory. And it's the only thing that truly survives bad days. Feelings are powerful. They can inspire us, motivate us, and push us toward action. When you're excited, hopeful, or passionate, the world seems full of possibility. You feel unstoppable, energized, and ready to take on any challenge. But feelings are also fragile. They rise and fall like waves, influenced by circumstances, health, relationships, and even the smallest events. What feels like unshakable motivation today can dissolve into doubt or fatigue tomorrow. Relying solely on feelings to guide your progress is like trying to build a house on shifting sands. It won't stand strong for long. Systems, however, are different. Systems are the repeatable, reliable processes and routines you design to keep moving forward regardless of how you feel. They create structure and predictability, transforming the unpredictable nature of feelings into steady progress. Systems don't rely on passion or energy. They rely on habits and consistency. When you have a strong system in place, you don't need to wait for the right mood to act. System carries you through. Imagine an artist who wants to improve their craft. On days when they feel inspired, they might create beautiful, flowing work that surprises even themselves. But inspiration can be fleeting. What separates a professional artist from a hobbyist is the system, the commitment to sit down every day at a set time and practice regardless of whether they feel inspired. The system builds skill over time, long after the feelings of excitement fade. In business, systems are the backbone of sustainable success. Entrepreneurs often start with big dreams and bursts of enthusiasm, but those feelings alone won't build a lasting company. Systems, whether it's customer service protocols, sales processes, or production workflows, ensure that the business runs smoothly day after day. They allow the company to scale, to handle setbacks, and to maintain quality even when leaders are tired, stressed, or distracted. Systems also protect you from burnout. When you depend on feelings to drive your work, you expend a lot of energy trying to keep yourself motivated. This emotional roller coaster can be exhausting and unsustainable. But with systems, much of the work becomes automatic, a habit rather than a choice, which saves mental energy and reduces stress. Another advantage of systems is that they make progress measurable. Feelings are subjective and difficult to track, but systems create clear steps and routines you can evaluate and improve. When you know what actions to take every day, you can assess what's working and what isn't and adjust accordingly. This feedback loop is essential for growth and improvement. Feelings can open the door to action, but systems are what keep you moving through it. They provide the scaffolding around your goals, supporting every step you take. Without systems, even the most passionate person will struggle to maintain momentum when feelings fade or obstacles arise. Many people wait for motivation before they start working toward their goals. They say, "I'll begin when I feel ready," or "I'll push harder when I'm inspired." But this approach traps them in cycles of procrastination and frustration. The truth is, you don't have to feel like working to make progress. You just have to have a system that moves you forward anyway. When you build systems, you build resilience. You prepare yourself for the inevitable days when feelings won't cooperate. You create a path that is less dependent on your fluctuating moods and more reliant on your commitment and consistency. Over time, systems transform small, regular actions into big results. Ultimately, feelings fade, but systems sustain. The people who succeed aren't those who chase fleeting bursts of inspiration. They are the ones who design reliable processes and stick to them every day. Systems turn intention into action, dreams into reality, and potential into achievement. Inspiration is often celebrated as the magical force that sparks creativity and action. We admire stories of people who suddenly felt inspired and then changed their lives or the world. But inspiration is unpredictable. It can appear suddenly and disappear just as quickly. Waiting for that perfect moment of inspiration before beginning something important is one of the biggest traps that hold people back. The truth is, if you depend on inspiration to start, you may never actually start at all. Starting is the hardest part of any journey. It requires courage, commitment, and often a willingness to face uncertainty and discomfort. Many people hesitate because they believe they must feel a certain way, motivated, excited, confident, before they can take that first step. But emotions are unreliable guides. You might feel inspired today, but tomorrow that feeling could vanish, leaving you stuck. If you wait for inspiration, you give away your power to your mood instead of taking control of your actions. Action often precedes inspiration. The act of starting itself creates momentum. When you begin, even without feeling inspired, your brain releases dopamine and other chemicals that boost motivation and confidence. This momentum fuels further action and often leads to inspiration along the way. Waiting for inspiration before starting is like waiting for a train at an empty station that might never come. The best way to catch the train is to get moving and board it when it arrives. Many successful people will tell you that their biggest breakthroughs happened not because they waited for inspiration, but because they took consistent action regardless of how they felt. They started with small steps, writing a paragraph, making a phone call, sketching a design, and as they progressed, inspiration arrived to guide and enhance their efforts. But without that initial step, inspiration would have remained out of reach. Procrastination is often disguised as waiting for inspiration. We tell ourselves, "I'll start tomorrow when I feel ready," or "I'll begin when I'm more motivated." These excuses delay progress and create a cycle of inactivity. The antidote is simply start now, no matter how small the step, no matter how imperfect. Starting breaks the cycle and sets the stage for real growth. In any creative or professional endeavor, the act of starting builds confidence. When you take the first step, you prove to yourself that you are capable. This confidence fuels further effort and reduces fear and hesitation. Waiting for inspiration, on the other hand, reinforces self-doubt and the illusion that you need to be perfectly ready to begin. Moreover, waiting for inspiration limits your learning. When you start, you expose yourself to real-world feedback, challenges, and opportunities to improve. This practical experience is far more valuable than waiting passively for a burst of motivation that may never come. Every action you take sharpens your skills, clarifies your goals, and deepens your understanding. It's important to distinguish between inspiration and preparation. Preparation involves planning, learning, and organizing before you start. This kind of readiness supports your efforts and increases your chances of success. Inspiration, however, is an emotional state, exciting but unreliable. Preparation combined with action, even without inspiration, builds progress. Many creative professionals have routines that force them to start work every day, regardless of mood. Writers set word count goals. Artists commit to daily sketches. Entrepreneurs schedule regular time for planning. These routines show that starting consistently without waiting for inspiration leads to breakthroughs and sustained success. Ultimately, don't wait for inspiration to begin. Take control by starting with what you have, where you are, and how you feel at this moment. The path forward becomes clear as you move, and inspiration will often catch up with you along the way. Starting is the catalyst that transforms ideas into reality. In today's fast-paced world, distractions are everywhere, from endless notifications on our phones to the barrage of emails, social media updates, and competing demands on our time. Staying focused has become one of the greatest challenges for anyone pursuing meaningful goals. Without a clear sense of purpose, it's easy to get pulled in multiple directions, wasting time and energy on things that don't truly matter. A clear goal acts like a shield. It protects you from distractions by giving your mind and actions a fixed point to focus on. When your goal is vague or undefined, your attention becomes scattered. You may start the day with good intentions, but quickly find yourself jumping from one task to another without making real progress. The temptation to check a message, browse social media, or respond to a minor interruption becomes hard to resist. Distractions thrive in uncertainty because they fill the space that a clear goal would otherwise occupy. A clear goal, by contrast, creates mental clarity. It defines exactly what you are working toward and why it matters. This clarity acts as a filter through which you evaluate every opportunity, request, or distraction. When something arises, you can ask yourself, does this help me move closer to my goal, or does it pull me away? If it's the latter, a clear goal makes it easier to say no or postpone that distraction without guilt. Having a well-defined goal also prioritizes your time and energy. It's like having a map in a dense forest. Without it, you might wander aimlessly, tempted to explore every path. But with a map and destination in mind, you stay on the right trail, focused on reaching the end point efficiently. A clear goal gives you the power to organize your day, schedule your tasks, and eliminate activities that do not align with your purpose. Distractions often thrive on vague objectives because there's no strong reason to resist them. When your goals are crystal clear, your motivation to protect your time strengthens. You begin to see distractions not as harmless breaks, but as obstacles that delay your progress. This shift in mindset is crucial because it helps build discipline, the ability to stick to your plan even when distractions tempt you. A clear goal also builds resilience against external pressures. Friends, family, or colleagues may ask for your time or attention in ways that conflict with your priorities. Without a clear goal, it's easy to get pulled into these demands, often at the expense of your own progress. But when your goal is defined and visible, you can communicate your boundaries firmly and confidently, protecting your focus while maintaining relationship. Furthermore, clear goals create a sense of accountability. When you know exactly what you want to achieve, it becomes easier to measure your progress and hold yourself responsible. This accountability reduces the chances of giving into distractions because you have something tangible to work toward and track. On the psychological level, a clear goal aligns your subconscious mind with your conscious efforts. Your brain begins to recognize what's important and automatically filters out irrelevant information. This natural focus makes it easier to resist distractions and stay committed to your tasks. Many successful people credit their achievements to setting clear, specific goals. They plan meticulously, write down their objectives, and revisit them regularly. This habit sharpens their focus and protects their time against the constant noise of distractions. It's not about avoiding breaks or rest. It's about choosing what deserves your attention and what doesn't. In environments full of potential distractions, a clear goal is your compass. It guides your decisions, fuels your motivation, and strengthens your discipline. Without it, distractions will continually pull you off course, making it difficult to reach your desired destination. Success is often confused with how we feel about our progress. Many people believe that if they feel happy, excited, or proud, it means they are successful. Conversely, if they feel frustrated, discouraged, or anxious, they assume failure. But emotions are unreliable indicators of success because they are fleeting and influenced by many factors outside our control. The real measure of success lies in consistent action, the tangible steps we take toward our goals, not the emotions we experience along the way. Emotions fluctuate constantly. You can wake up feeling optimistic and motivated only to face unexpected challenges that drain your mood by midday. Or you might start a day feeling down but end at having accomplished significant work. If you base your success on how you feel, you risk misunderstanding your progress and making decisions that are reactive rather than intentional. Fears, on the other hand, provide clear evidence of progress. They are measurable, observable, and repeatable. When you focus on actions, you evaluate success by what you do, not by how you feel. For example, writing 500 words, making 3 sales calls, or completing a workout, or concrete achievements. No matter your mood, these actions are accomplishments you can count. Measuring success by actions builds discipline. When you know that effort counts more than feelings, you develop habits that carry you forward, even on difficult days. You learn to separate your mood from your behavior, recognizing that you don't have to feel like it to take action. This mindset creates resilience and reduces the risk of procrastination, which often arises when people wait to feel motivated before working. Emotions can be misleading. Feeling confident doesn't guarantee that you've made progress, just as feeling doubtful doesn't mean you have failed. For example, an entrepreneur may feel anxious before a big presentation, but if they prepare thoroughly and deliver it well, their success is in the preparation and execution, not the emotional state. Similarly, a student may feel confident after reading once, but may not have retained the material, while another student who felt overwhelmed but studied diligently has made real progress. Focusing on actions also helps you set realistic expectations. Emotions can exaggerate how well or poorly things are going, leading to disappointment or complacency. But when you track actions, you see a more objective picture of your journey. This clarity allows you to celebrate small wins, identify areas for improvement, and adjust your plans based on facts rather than feelings. Successful people know that emotions are tools, not goals. They use positive feelings as fuel, but don't depend on them to validate their work. They push through frustration, fear, and boredom because they understand that actions are what lead to growth. They measure their days by tasks completed and progress made, not by mood swings or temporary highs and lows. When you measure success by actions, you also gain greater control over your outcomes. Emotions are often beyond your control, influenced by external events or internal chemistry. Actions, however, are choices you make. You can decide to take a step forward even if you feel uncertain. This shift empowers you to be proactive rather than reactive, creating momentum that emotions alone cannot provide. Moreover, measuring success through actions cultivates accountability. It encourages you to set specific, actionable goals and track your completion. This focus increases motivation and helps you maintain consistency over time. When you hold yourself accountable to your actions, you develop a stronger work ethic and a clearer path toward your objectives. Ultimately, emotions will always be part of your experience, but they should not be the rulers of your journey. By focusing on what you do instead of how you feel, you build a foundation for sustained success that withstands the inevitable ups and downs of life. Actions are the true currency of achievement, reliable, measurable, and within your control. Many people believe that creativity and productivity flourish best in moments of complete freedom, when inspiration strikes, when ideas flow spontaneously, and when there are no rules to hold them back. While creativity is important, relying solely on spontaneous bursts of energy often leads to inconsistent results and missed opportunities. The truth is that your best work is born from structure, from the deliberate frameworks and systems you create to guide your efforts. Structure provides the foundation that transforms raw talent and ideas into tangible, high-quality outcomes. Structure creates clarity. When you have a clear plan or routine, you remove uncertainty about what to do next. This clarity reduces decision fatigue, the mental exhaustion that comes from making too many choices, allowing you to focus your energy on the actual work rather than on figuring out what work to do. With a defined structure, your days become predictable in a way that supports productivity rather than stifles creativity. Consider a writer who sets a daily word count goal. Without this structure, the writer might wait for inspiration, leading to irregular writing sessions and inconsistent output. But with a clear target and a schedule, the writer trains themselves to produce regularly regardless of mood. This routine not only improves discipline, but also often sparks creativity within the boundaries set by the structure. Many famous authors and artists credit their best work to consistent habits and schedules. Structure also enhances focus. In an age filled with distractions, having a defined system helps you prioritize and allocate your time effectively. When you know exactly when and how you will work on specific tasks, it's easier to resist interruptions and avoid procrastination. Structure creates a container for your efforts, protecting your creative energy from being diluted by multitasking or random distraction. Moreover, structure enables you to measure progress and improve continuously. When you work within a system, you can track what works and what doesn't, identify bottlenecks, and refine your approach. This feedback loop leads to better efficiency and higher quality results over time. Without structure, work can become haphazard and difficult to assess, making growth slow and uncertain. In team environments, structure is even more critical. Clear roles, responsibilities, timelines, and communication channels ensure everyone is aligned and working toward the same goals. Structure minimizes confusion and conflict, allowing the team to collaborate more effectively and produce collective work that exceeds individual efforts. Structure does not mean rigidity or lack of creativity. In fact, many creative breakthroughs happen within well-designed frameworks. Constraints can inspire innovation by forcing you to think differently and find unique solutions. Structure gives you the freedom to explore creatively, knowing that you have a safety net of order and planning beneath your work. Building structure requires intentionality. It means setting goals, creating schedules, defining processes, and committing to routines. It might feel restrictive at first, especially if you're used to working purely on impulse. But over time, structure frees you from the chaos of unpredictability, allowing your best ideas to surface and flourish. Another benefit of structure is that it builds momentum. When you follow a consistent routine, each completed task adds to your sense of accomplishment, fueling further effort. Momentum is the engine behind sustained productivity and high performance. And structure is what keeps that engine running smoothly. Many successful people credit their achievements to the structures they built around their work and lives. They don't wait for perfect conditions or sudden inspiration. Instead, they create habits and systems that support their goals and help them deliver their best work day after day. In essence, structure is the backbone of excellence. It transforms potential into performance, chaos into order, and fleeting ideas into lasting impact. When you embrace structure, you equip yourself with the tools to consistently produce your best work no matter the circumstances. In life and work, relying solely on a good mood as your strategy is a fragile foundation. Moods are temporary and unpredictable, while true success demands consistent action rooted in discipline, preparation, and clear goals. A good mood can spark motivation, but it cannot carry you through challenges, setbacks, or the daily grind. Real progress comes from building systems and structures that sustain you even when enthusiasm fades. Discipline ensures that you keep moving forward regardless of how you feel. And preparation equips you to face obstacles with confidence. Clear goals act as your compass, protecting your focus from distractions that threaten to derail your journey. Measuring success by your actions rather than emotions keeps you accountable and resilient. Remember, emotions are like the weather, ever-changing and beyond control. But your strategy is the climate, steady and enduring. By committing to consistency, structure, and deliberate effort, you create a path that leads to lasting achievement. Don't wait for the perfect mood to begin or continue. Build strategies that work in any emotional weather and watch your success become unstoppable. Ladies and gentlemen, the path to success is not paved with perfect moods or fleeting bursts of inspiration. It is built on the steady foundation of discipline, preparation, and clear goals. Emotions will come and go like the weather, but a well-crafted strategy is the climate that endures, guiding you through every storm and sunny day alike. Don't wait for the right feeling to take action. Start now, stay consistent, and let systems carry you forward. By committing to deliberate effort and structured progress, you transform dreams into reality, one resilient step at a time. Choose to act, choose to persist, and watch your potential become unstoppable.